Hello and welcome back to Friday Night Comics, everybody. And I didn't mute the stream again. How you guys doing? It's time once again to go over some upcoming books and see how exciting those look. Now, unfortunately, it looks like this might be another fairly small week for me, but we shall see. TOS, sleep is for the week. Hey, Jim. Hey, TOS. Hey, Oki. Hey, Viking. How you guys doing? All right, let's get right into it so we can go make fun of stupid people in articles. All right, let's start with DC this week. That MODOK trailer, dude, that show looks horrible. What a garbage fire. And Patton Oswalt is not funny. I'm sorry. He is not only not funny, he seems very unlikable as a person. Hey, Evolved. Good morning. All right, so right out the bat, we have the Batman Fortnite book, which I've got the first two issues of, but haven't read them yet. There's supposedly codes in there that let you get free in-game stuff, and each one is unique. Hey Ryan. Hey Raziel. What's up, guys? So if you want some Fortnite stuff, these have codes in them that are exclusive to the comic. So be aware of that. That makes them a little more sought after. My comic shop's been selling out of the book, so I've had to pre-order this issue because I wanted it because Snake Eyes is in it. So I've got the first two, but like I said, I haven't read them. And they come polybag too, so people can't steal your code. Grabbing Mexican, so I hope you're well. Oh, I'm doing okay. Enjoy your Mexican food, dude. Hope it's good. So yeah, I'm gonna check this out. The art doesn't look like my kind of style, but I've heard it's actually a pretty decent book. I don't know anything about Fortnite, so that's probably not gonna help me any. Catwoman, I don't have an interest in, but the cover's well done. I'm so far behind on that. I think I only read the first issue, maybe the first couple issues, and they weren't bad, but they've changed creative teams long since. Hey, baby doll, how you doing? Good morning. I take the old people naps too. They're great. This trade, just pick the issues up out of a back issue bin cheap. Most of them weren't worth reading. There were a couple of good ones, but I didn't really care for a few of them. This one's probably better than the one with the stupid animals, though. Justice League, I haven't been reading it. Bendis is writing it, so I have very minimal interest in. Galaxy of Terrors, I didn't read that either. That was Simon Spurrier writing that storyline. It looked okay, but that's what I was thinking too, Jim, is I would read just the ones with Joelle Jones, because I thought the first couple issues were pretty solid. Seemed like they were going in an interesting direction, but I couldn't keep my interest long enough financially to justify it. Hey, sorry, Adamantine. Plus, I've been seeing those issues real cheap lately, so I might get those, but I don't think I'm going to jump back on the Catwoman bandwagon. Looney Tunes, always solid kids stuff, so definitely good for younger readers. Nightwing, I dropped that one real quick. I just grabbed a couple issues, and that one storyline with him having amnesia was way too long. I didn't even bother reviewing it. It seemed like it was an okay storyline. It just dragged out too long. And Tom Taylor's writing it, so I have no interest. I think he's an overrated writer. Shazam Mightiest Mortals. This is really cool. I'd love to get this, but it's just too expensive. Superman Red and Blue. It just didn't catch my attention. Superman the Man of Steel. This collects some of the John Byrne run. This was a fantastic time for Superman for me. So I would definitely buy this, but it's like, I think this is $50. Yeah, $50. But this is some of the best Superman from the post-crisis era, if you ask me. Hey, what's up, Golf City Johnny Blaze? Hey, Angela. Nice of you guys to join. The Flash. I've been reading this story arc. It's okay. I liked when it was called Quantum Leap. No, Buster, I don't think they will. Wonder Girl, I really don't have an interest in that. It might be okay, but it just didn't really appeal to me. But if you like the Future State version, I guess it's fine. Young Justice, why do they all look like this? Yeah, nope, I'm gonna pass on that one. So for DC, I'm getting the Batman Fortnite one, Flash, and what's not on here is Legends of the Dark Knight. Apparently that got solicited, so I'm gonna pick that one up too. Hey James, how you doing, man? So that's it for DC. Not much from them. Their books are too expensive now. I just finished reading The Joker, and it's $6. So probably dropping that title. So let's jump over here to Image. Geiger's in its third printing. My comic shop still has first printings sitting on the shelf. So, all right. It wasn't that exciting. It's fun, just wasn't that exciting. Home, don't care. Homesick Pilots, don't care. Jules Verne's Lighthouse, cool title. It didn't sound that interesting to me. Kick-Ass, I have no interest in. La Mano del Destino. Who doesn't love a good luchador story? But I'd rather read about El Santo. Moonshine, I've heard is pretty good, but way too far into it now. So I'm not going to jump on that one. Nomen Omen, not interested. Radiant Black, really? Third printings? Again, my comic shop still has first printings, and they're just not selling that well. And they didn't order exorbitant amounts of them. But issue 4 is coming out. I quit reading after issue 2. I'd rather just get the trade and get the full story. Hey, Zombie, how you doing? Yeah, Evolved. The early Young Justice stuff was really good, but the new iteration isn't for me. I just don't care. I like the original lineup with Tim Drake and Impulse. But yeah, the new series just didn't really do anything for me. So Radiant Black, I had high hopes for this. The potential for it was there, but it's just dragging too long. So if you're interested in that, get the trade paperback. Scumbag, that book was boring. More attempts at shock value than anything else. Hey, Always Lost, how you doing? Do you have a Streamlabs? I clicked the link. Oh, yeah, the page probably isn't working. Sorry. Let me try and rectify that real quick. There you go. I should probably try and fix that in the description here as well. Oh, yeah, I see what happened. I copied and pasted it. Funny. Sorry. Oh, my God, content. Yeah, that should fix it. Yeah, you might have to refresh the page, but that should work now. All right, sorry about that. That's one of the important things I should try and correct. So let's see. All right, so Stillwater, it's probably okay, but I don't really have an interest in that. It looks like another horror comic. Stray Dogs, again, another one didn't hold my interest. This Ultra Mega, It doesn't really do anything for me. The first issue, I see what they were doing, but I don't know. It just wasn't for me. Walking Dead, no. You already got my money once, Kirkman. So Image really didn't have anything for me this week. Dark Horse, Kajakoro the Skinner. I'm going to pick that up. It's Mike Mignola. I've got the first issue. It's only a 2-issue story. I haven't read it yet. Looked pretty good. I like the art. We make fun of Polly and Drunkle. I try to have everything prepared, but you know how well plans go sometimes. Far Cry Rite of Passage could be interesting, but I don't trust Dark Horse with their wokeness to make it interesting enough. Careful with some of that talk, guys, because you could get me in trouble for that. Hey, old guy, how you doing? Ah, nice to have you here, man. Neil Gaiman Library Edition. I don't care. Rangers of the Divide. I don't care. So Dark Horse just has one book I want. IDW, Chained to the Grave. Cool title. Not interested. The art doesn't look that good. I flipped through this Godzilla Monsters and Protectors issue 1 at the store, and wow, that looks horrible. My Little Pony. If you're a My Little Pony fan, you'll probably want that. Sleeping Beauties. That book has been going on for over a year. I think it got shut down because of the pandemic partly, but it just the art was a little too weird for me. It seemed like an interesting story though. Transformers 29 and 30 are both coming out at the same time. So I'm going to pick those up even though I'm really far behind. I will eventually get caught up in that book. And I'll probably end up hating it, so I'll be mad at myself for buying all these issues. So I do that occasionally, I guess. Yeah, Oki, that's a fact. Dark Horse has really gone downhill on quality. Their paper quality is trash. And ever since they lost the Predator and Alien licenses, they've been flailing. And they were kind of in trouble before that, financially, from the sound of it. But they lost a lot of quality talent. And most of the books they have are either licensed or Mike Mignola. And that's about it. It just doesn't do anything for me for most of them. They have a lot of woke crap now, and I don't. It's boring. I don't like boring comics. Their Terminator stuff really suffered last couple of times. Their aliens weren't that hot either, but maybe they could turn it around yet. I'd like to see them bring back some of the superhero books they had, like Ghost. That was a really good book. Oh yeah, I totally agree, Oki. Some phone books have better paper. Beast Wars, the first issue was horrible art. Horrible. And the robots looked okay, but the action scenes were a little too anime style for me. And their mouths were clearly drawn after the bodies and tacked on because the color scheme didn't match. And oftentimes the faces just didn't look right with the tacked on mouths. It looked like somebody that worked at Robot Chicken designed the characters. It was really disappointing. The story was overly simplistic too. Transformers Escape, I'm going to pick that one up too. So from IDW, it's just 2 issues of Transformers and Transformers Escape. So it's Transformers kind of weak. Yeah, I heard a couple guys at the shop complaining about the Beast Wars book too. So they were big Transformers people. It was kind of disappointing. Their Transformers 1984 stuff was really good. So I'm kind of disappointed that they didn't maybe go in that direction instead. Okay, I think you're right. I'm willing to bet that's exactly what happened, actually. I'm not good with mouths. All right, on to Marvel. X of Vengeance, Spider-Man and the X-Men. This collects quite a bit of stuff. If you don't have these issues, there's some really good stuff here. But I'm not willing to pay $45 for it. That's just too much. I'd get it off in stock trades or Amazon before that. But otherwise, there's some great stories in there. The Aliens Omnibus, these reprint a lot of the Dark Horse stuff because Marvel owns Disney owns the Fox licenses for Aliens. They canceled the Predator series that they announced because of the lawsuit that they're in now by the original creators. So we're not going to see Predator anytime soon, but the Alien stuff is being reprinted. There's some good stuff in here too, but $125 is a little out of my league. Amazing Spider-Man, I'm not giving Nick Spencer any more money. It's just, he's not that good of a writer, and he's not that good at Spider-Man. This Avengers Epic Collection collects some great stuff. Avengers 98 through 114, Daredevil 99. We get to see Black Widow return. It's really, really good. So this is a really nice set. At $40, it's a bit pricey, though. But it would cost you a lot more to get these issues. Definitely worthwhile investing if you want to read some classic Avengers stuff. Yeah, the old Predator stuff from Dark Horse was pretty fun. I like that, but I haven't read it in ages. I don't blame you for being upset. That could have been cool, but their Alien book's kind of slow going, so I'm not that upset about. Black Knight, that was a thing that exists. Captain America, Ta-Nehisi Coates only has one more issue, so after this one, maybe it'll be worthwhile after issue 30. But yeah, not interested. Coates doesn't seem to know what to do with the character. Captain Marvel versus Rogue. She was Miss Marvel in this entire series of issues. There's some good stuff in there, though. Champions, not interested. Conan, there might be some decent stuff in here. I'm not familiar with these stories, though, off the top of my head. I think this is more Dark Horse stuff, isn't it? Looks like it. So some of the Dark Horse Conan stuff was pretty good. Daredevil looks like it might be good, but the way it's being written is probably better in trade. Fantastic Four life story, I decided to pass on. It didn't sound that good. Oh, yeah, accepting pre-order money for stuff. Oh. Yeah, the old version of those Alien Omnibuses is probably a little cheaper because there were quite a few of them floating around. They had a couple different iterations. As Heroes Reborn, I'm probably going to pick up. I marked it down on my sheet to pick it up, so I'm going to give it a shot. I've been reading the other ones. I'm going to drop the first issue review tonight. Finally got some reviews in the can because I got a little bit of free time today for the first time in a while, so I got some reviews actually done, and I'll have the first one of this series up. But it got more interesting as it went. So issue 3, they're doing it weekly though, so it's a big investment at $5 an issue. You might want to just wait for the trade if you're interested in it. Immortal Hulk Time of Monsters. I'm just not that interested. That series didn't do anything for me. These Kazar books, I liked these when these came out. A lot of people didn't like them, but it collects all 34 issues of that series. And it was pretty fun, I thought. It's, a Tarzan knockoff, but worth checking out. $125, probably not worth it since these issues don't go for that much in the back issue bin. Last time I looked, anyway. Valkyries, I don't care. Brother Voodoo collection, this could be really cool, but $75 prices me out. If it was 25 or 30, maybe I'd pick it up, but no, that's too expensive. Incredible Hulk, same thing. Power Man and Iron Fist, this is awesome. These were great stories. These guys made a great team up, and it collects some pretty decent stuff. Power Man 48 and 49, and Power Man and Iron Fist 50 through 70. So you get a pretty good run for $40. It's a decent price, I guess, but it's a little beyond what I can afford right now. Runaways, no, not getting that. Shang-Chi, I'm going to skip that one too. It could be good, but the last Shang-Chi thing was pretty terrible. Silk, I'm not going to pick that up. It's the second printing. My store's got the first printing on the shelf, and I'm just not that interested. Star Wars Bounty Hunters, this storyline apparently is going to go on for quite some time. And the stories were just slow going before this, so not interested. Trials of Ultraman, I'm definitely picking that up. The first Ultraman miniseries was a lot of fun. It was an interesting take on Ultraman, and this should be as well. I haven't read the first two issues, but it's the same creative team as Rise of Ultraman, so I'll check it out. I like Ultraman. A little bit biased on that way. Way of X, nope. Venomnibus, stupid name, but could be really good. If you like the old Venom stuff, there's a lot here. But again, $125 is a steep investment. But you get quite a bit of material. So, and they're really nice condition too. Wolverine, I gave up on that one. So, Marvel, I'm just getting Heroes Reborn and Trials of Ultraman. Dynamite, we've got Sacred Six, not interested. We got Sonya Versal, I'm not that interested. What else we got here? Vengeance of Vampirella, it's just not that good. So nothing from Dynamite this week. Boom Studios has some more prints of Berserker. This thing is running wild for some reason. They sold a ton of these at my comic shop, and some of the other ones in the area were all hyping it. I don't know. I thought it was an okay Wolverine story. It was an action book. It was pretty fun, but it wasn't exactly the most memorable thing I've ever read. It was, don't get me wrong, high octane fun. If you just want some brainless action movie stuff, yeah, go for it. Issue 2 is getting a second print. I haven't read issue 2 yet, sitting here in the pile. So I don't know how good that is, but I don't know. It seemed okay. Jim Henson, Storyteller Tricksters. I don't know what that is, and I'm not that interested. Lumberjanes, I don't care. Luna, don't care. Magic the Gathering, shouldn't have a third print. That book sucked donkey balls. That was one of the most boring things I've ever read. It didn't tell me anything about the characters. They just assume you know. Like, oh, I should know who all these people are. Well, if you don't know, how are you going to get into the book? It was a terrible introduction for new readers. If you haven't been reading magic books or playing the card game for probably a decade, you have no idea what's going on in this book. Buster, if you keep talking about committing crimes on here, I'm going to have to block you. Because you got to stop that crap, man. You're going to get me in trouble. He looks like John Wick because everything looks like Keanu Reeves now. So, yeah, that's what it's Keanu Reeves playing himself. It's a movie vehicle. Orcs, nope, not buying that one. Oh, 99-cent box, nice. Power Rangers, I'll pick that up. Power Ranger stuff, again, still really far behind on, but I do like the creative teams they've got working on the books. Hey, Costin, how you doing, man? So, yeah, just Power Rangers from Boom. Although, if you're interested in the Berserker book, it's not bad. It's not as spectacular as everybody's leading you to believe. Diamond Select Toys, the Castlevania Dracula PVC. This actually looked really cool. It's $50, which is probably too expensive. But if you like the animated series, it's a pretty cool looking piece. So I thought that was kind of neat. That Spider-Man one's pretty cool too. But it's the video game one with the white logo. And not into that. No worries, Buster. I don't want to get in trouble for something somebody else is saying in chat. You know, They hold that against me for some stupid ass reason. And quite frankly, I can't afford to lose my channel just now. Comics and graphic novels. All right, this is pretty much everybody else. These old trade paperbacks, these are reprints of really old issues that are all, I think they're all public domain now. But like Adventures in the Unknown, Forbidden Worlds, they've been doing a lot of these. Some of these are really cool. And you get a lot of stuff, like 5 issues of really old 50s stuff that was generally, a lot of it was pre-code. Others are just when the code first came out. And some of them are really cool if you like that sort of thing. And at $25, it's a good way to read those old things. But, you know, it depends what you're into. A lot of people don't like these. They're kind of dated by today's standards. But I think they're kind of neat. It's a good historical artifact. And they have some in hardcover, too, that are like $50. That's a little beyond what I would want out of them, because I'd probably only read them once or twice. But for $25, it's like $5 an issue. You're really not paying too much by today's standards. Beastars, that looks like some furry stuff. I'm going to pass. This is a Screen Comics trade. I don't care. The cartoon was pretty good for Airbender, but that was kind of my limit of my interest in it, was I watched the entire series and then I moved on with my life. Bequest, it didn't really do anything for me. I flipped through it at the store. Didn't really catch me. Black Friday, not interested. Blade Runner, I'm going to pick that up. That's a pretty good series. By the Horns, I'm not really interested in this. It's about unicorns, and I don't know, it seems a bit silly. Bite Sized, it's another TV pitch from Artists, Writers, and Artisans, but for what is, it's okay. If you're going to get anything from artists, writers, and artisans, just wait for the trade. The issues are $4 a piece, and the trade paperbacks are all $10. So save yourself twice the month, or half the amount, by just getting the trade paperback. We didn't have to time you out to remove them. Just to leave it alone, Buster. It's fine. Just, kind of chill out on that. Sumerian Iron Shadows and Moon. I'm going to pick this up. The Sumerian stuff from Ablaze is some of the best Conan stuff out there right now. Marvel's Conan I just find boring because nothing really happens. And you don't get a complete story for like 6 issues. It takes them forever, and they got to pad it out with a bunch of nonsense. I'd rather just pick up some old issues of Conan from when Marvel was good for like $3. Crime Destroyer, cool title, but it looks a little silly. Crossed, I have no interest in. Those are just weird reasons to draw softcore porn, as far as I can tell, with a sort of zombie type theme. It's never that interested. Dan the Unharmable, I don't care about that. Devil's Dominion, I've got the first issue floating around somewhere. It looked okay. Black Box does some interesting stuff, but I just haven't got around to reading it, and by the time I got it anywhere near the surface of my stack, it's on issue 4. But it looked like it might be interesting. So Black Box does some interesting stuff. It's just not that great of art as far as I'm concerned, but might be worth checking out. Domino Lady Threesome, not interested. Dirty Biology is pointless sex book from the sound of it. Dragon Kingdom, I don't know anything about it, but it's got kind of cutesy chibi style art. Not interested in that. Dreaming Eagles, nah, I don't really care. Drifting Dragons, another manga. Engine Ward, nope, not bothering. Fairy Tale 100 Years of Quest, that looks like, I don't know what that is. It doesn't hold any interest for me based on that really mostly shirtless men cover. Fictional Feather, that art looks like trash. Hell's Paradise, cool title, but I don't know anything about it. Honor and Curse, no, I'm not interested. I walk with monsters. I don't care. I am the hero, but the demon lord's also me. Bad grammar aside, interesting concept, and it's got giant girl boobs on it, so I guess that's a thing. Joanna and the Unpossible Monsters. No, just based on the title. And your garbage art aside, nope. Jerusalem, I don't care. Knights of the Dinner Table, yeah, those are probably fine. Just not interested. The Girl Who Electrified Tesla. Some of these crime noir things are pretty good from Titan. I just don't really feel like getting into those right now. I'm not in a crime noir fix, but like I said, they what I've read of them is pretty good. Hey Becca, how you doing? Buster, it doesn't remove them. Even then, YouTube still knows. Just leave it alone, man. Move on. OBE, out of body experience, that could be interesting, but I'm not going to pick it up just due to financial constraints. Phantom on the Scan, cool title, but just not interested in what I read of it. Doesn't seem like something for me. Nottingham might be good, but I'll probably wait to see if they put it in trade. Postman from Space, it looks sort of like a weird kind of oh crap, what's the name of that? Reed Fleming, World's Toughest Milkman. I'm alive. Prince Valiant, that's solid stuff. These trades are cool because they collect a lot of the old stuff that you aren't going to see anymore. Here's another one of those Golden Age trades. This is a variant cover with Man of Mars, and it's the hardcover version. There's a slipcase cover version too. So if you're really into Golden Age sci-fi stuff, $56, get you a slipcase cover. Red Room, it sounded like it might be okay, but it's just not something I'm interested in. Let's see, Red Rover Charlie, that didn't sound that interesting to me. It's about dogs. It sounded kind of weird. Redemption, another stupid TV pitch. Robin Hood Voodoo Dawn, I'm going to pick this up. I like Robin Hood from Zenoscope. It's good stuff. Sorry, I gotta switch something here. Let's see. Whatever that says. Western Bilingual Collection. I like the cover. But yeah, I'm not going to pick that up. It's too expensive. Sex Education. So I was already in high school. Shame, Hell's Flaw. I don't know what that is, but that cover would freak me out a little bit, I think. Like 3 a.m, I'll have nightmares about that. Sign of Affection, and now this more weird manga. Here's another one of those Silver Age classics. This time the slipcase is of Ghost Stories. It looks pretty cool. I've read a few of these, as I remember, from back in the day. They were Dell. And yeah, they're not bad. 5 issues for $25 for the soft cover. Pretty good deal. It costs you about $15-$20 to get those if you can even track them down in poor shape. Steak is Trash. Steel Claw, don't care. Strange Attractors. It's Alive is a real mixed company, and they're really bad about getting stuff out. Yeah, I'm not real into the horror comics. I kind of have to be in the mood for them. But sometimes they're pretty good. Those old ghost story ones are fun because they're aimed more at like younger people, and you get a complete story. Whereas now it'd be a 6-issue epic, and half the time people would be sitting around eating. That's one of the reasons I dropped Radiant Black, was too much people eating. Undone by Blood, Other Side of Eden. It's got a cool title, Undone by Blood, but just didn't really strike me as anything. This Wailing Blade, I've got all the issues of this storyline. I think I only reviewed the first issue though, and it had really, really manga style art, and it had big fuck off sword for no apparent reason. So if you're into that sort of thing, you'll probably dig that. It didn't seem like something for me though, but it was interesting. It was okay. White Lily, this story is actually pretty good. I know the creator is a very controversial person on the internet, but it's a pretty interesting story. Exo Man of War, that's hot garbage. So from this category, I'm going to get Blade Runner Origins, The Sumerian, Iron Shadows, and Robin Hood Voodoo Dawn. Yeah, the eating thing is annoying. It's really, really just a pad for space by bad writers. So that's pretty much it for upcoming comics for next week. I'm only getting 12 books? 13 books. And that's only because Legends of the Dark Knight wasn't on here originally, and it was on my subscription form. So, yeah, that's about all I'm getting. And I'm probably going to drop Transformers after this, so this will get even thinner. So that's what I'm getting, and let's turn to some news. Mukbang comics, yeah, pretty much. That's what I hated about Radiant Black issue 2. It was seriously 8 pages of people eating oatmeal. And I wish I was exaggerating that. 6 pages at the beginning, 2 pages at the end. Full circle. I have a 24-page comic. You can fuck right off with that. All right, so Jim Carrey did something cool on the set of Sonic the Hedgehog 2. I don't remember if I covered this last week, but he gave away a car to a crew member. Apparently, he's having a great time working on this production, which actually is pretty cool. Because Jim Carrey could be funny, I guess. And he does really kind of look the part. So they had this little raffle where a member of the crew could win a vehicle from him. So, yeah. But is the decision to, a lot of fluff here. Production is currently underway, and Jim Carrey has now given one of the crew members an extra special gift to thank them for their hard work. According to TMZ, Carrey held a raffle recently for all the crew members working out of Vancouver. The prize was a brand new Chevy Blazer RS, which is worth more than $40,000. Carrey randomly selected the winner on Friday morning and will give the lucky crew member the keys to the new ride. From last week. Oh, we're going to talk about that, Okie. We're going to talk about that probably last, because that's last in the queue. This is quite the gesture from Carrey, and surely a moment the unnamed crew member will never forget. Receiving a brand new car at random right before the weekend is quite an unexpected bonus. This might be a one-time gift from Carrey, but perhaps he'll do other raffles as production continues. Now other crew members could be on the lookout for other contests just in case. And even though Carrey likely did this just for fun and not the publicity he'll get, this will also boost morale on the set filming under strict COVID safety protocols. And my understanding is he did this because they were doing such a good job at following the protocols. Carrey giving away a car during filming is also welcome confirmation that he has started working on the sequel. Some set photos from the movie have come out, but Carrey's Dr. Robotnik has not been spotted yet. Instead, fans have received confirmation of Knuckles appearing alongside Sonic and Tails. Since Robotnik was last seen on a completely different world than Earth, that could explain why... Oh, spoilers, apparently. Thank you. So, yeah, apparently, from what I read in one of the other articles, this one's from Screen Rant, he was so happy with the way they were following the COVID protocols and so excited to be back on this movie that he just gave away a car randomly. And that is really cool. I don't like Jim Carrey as a person. I think he's kind of a douche. But good for him. This is something that should be applauded because some lucky schlub who's busting his ass for no recognition just got a brand new $40,000 car. Cable Guy. Yeah, that was actually a pretty good movie. Check your money. Oh, sorry. I don't have that screen pulled up. Oh, wow. Thank you, Becca. That's very generous of you to go toward your comic addiction or whatever. It'll definitely do that. Thank you very much. That was really awesome of you. Wow. Uh, yeah, you threw me off there. I don't know what to say. But yeah, thank you so much for that. Gerry Duggan is being a dumbass. Reveals the goal of the current X-Men books. Another fail for Marvel. This from Bounding into Comics. I do like Bounding quite a bit, but I try not to rely too heavily on them. Only like half the articles. Marvel Comics writer Gerry Duggan, or Duggan, I don't know how to pronounce that, who currently pens Marauders, Cable, and Savage Avengers, recently detailed what the goal of current and upcoming X-Men comics are. Now, you all know I've been very critical of the X-Men books because of their drug trafficking, human trafficking, ethno state. But a lot of people do seem to like these books. They sell quite a bit of them at my primary comic shop and the other ones I go to. So it's no real surprise that the writers are out there really advertising it. They are going to relaunch this book, and Mr. Duggan, whatever, is going to be writing the main X-Men book. Her name is Kate now. She's no longer Kitty Pryde. She's Kate Pryde. Yeah. Duggan took to Twitter where he wrote, the folks collaborating on X Comics are cooking up the biggest stories in comics right now. Yeah, I'd call that into question. He then detailed the goals to have fun, thrill our artists and writers, and give readers what they didn't know they needed. You know what this tells me? Fuck the readers. They don't know that we know better than they do what they want to read. That is rarely true from my time in comics. Usually when they lead with thrill our artists and editors, that means they're writing for them or creating for them and not for the audience. It's probably why sales are dipping. The goal is to make the artist happy. Everyone else is along for the ride. Well, you want to just whip your dick out and slap us with it now? Thank you, Gerry. No, this is very insulting to readers. It says, you're just along for the ride. You're just some hitchhiking hobo we picked up on the side of the road. You are lucky to even gaze upon our magnificence. We did this for us. Fuck you. That's how I would interpret this. Probably not a very charitable interpretation, but comic professionals on Twitter tend to be kind of dicks. In subsequent tweet, Duggan stated, please do not give us your great story ideas. They are for you to exploit. He continued, please do not behave in an unhinged manner about the comics books to the folks working hard on them. Be cool. The reign of X is here. I hope you dig it, but we sure as hell are having fun. No, I hate it. I hate it. I think it's stupid, and I think the X-Men are acting like arrogant racists. Duggan also questioned these statements. Twitter user RMoneyG35 wrote, MLAO, forget the fans. Y'all know it's best, huh? The user added, no wonder the comic industry is failing and manga is destroying American comics. It's supposed to be about keeping the fans, customers happy. Could not agree more, Comrade Ryan. But they don't believe that. Duggan responded by sharing a YouTube video from Marvel Entertainment with a message from Stan Lee. So what? In the video, Lee states, I want you to know Marvel's always been and always will reflect the world right outside your window. Maybe that's the problem. That world may change and evolve, but one thing will never change, and that's the way we tell stories of heroism. Except Marvel hasn't been telling stories about heroism. The X-Men is not about heroism. It's about people extorting the rest of the world with a life-saving drug that they use to blackmail people into giving them all sovereign immunity. And then they sometimes steal people from other countries and violate, international norms and say we can go wherever we want, do whatever we want, and kill whoever we want. Yeah, fuck that. Yeah, they're huffing the paint fumes if they think this is fucking good stories. I'm sorry, I really hate what they've done to the X-Men. They are not people I want to cheer on anymore. He continued, these stories have room for everyone, regardless of their race, gender, religion, or color of their skin. That was true when Stan was there, or Jim Shooter, or half a dozen other people. But not anymore. The only thing we don't have room for are hatred, intolerance, and bigotry, except when they do it toward the fans. The man next to you, he's your brother. That woman over there, she's your sister. And that kid walking by, hey, who knows, might have the proportionate strength of a spider. Well, you know what? I'd agree with Stan Lee, but not as comics are today. They are using Stan Lee in a video here as a cudgel. And I honestly don't understand what Gerry is trying to say here, other than, fuck you, you're a bigot. That they reprinted some of these old Stan Lee soap boxes that are kind of wildly out of context. And this Twitter user rightly pointed out that the top 20 books for American comic sales are all manga. Like Demon Slayer's on here like 5 times. Different volumes. Demon Slayer, something I can't pronounce, volume 1 and 2. Demon Slayer's 21, volume 3, 8, 4, 9, 7, 10. All in the top 20. Chainsaw Man, which is a fucking awesome title. Holy shit, I've never heard of that, but I kind of want to read it now. My Hero Academia, Jujutsu Kaisen, embarrassing myself on pronunciation, Attack on Titan. I've heard this is good, but never read it. Spy X Family. That's catchy. Tokyo Ghoul, another cool title. I wish I liked the art more. I really missed the anime craze by about 10, 15 years. So I'm a little too out of the age demographic for people that really got into that. So I feel like I'm missing out quite a bit because I don't like the art style. It appears readers aren't along for the ride. They hopped off the Marvel bus and it doesn't look like they're coming back anytime soon. And I could not agree more with John Trent on this one. They are shitting all over the fans and they're writing strictly for themselves. It's the most honest thing that a Marvel writer has said in a long time. And it displays their arrogance, not only about their own work, but about how little regard they have for their fans. I don't know how they're selling books. I know the X-Men books are popular right now, and I have a very unpopular opinion about their island ethno-state, but I just don't think the storytelling is good. It's not even that they're making them into villains or, drug dealers. It's just not interesting. It's not good storytelling. It's not compelling. There's no depth. Everything is shallow and pandering. Oh, hey, Spittle Buggy. Just wish it was colored more regularly. Yeah, Viking, that's another thing. A lot of people hate the black and white. I'm a little 50-50 on that because, in the 80s, there was a lot of indie stuff like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles were in black and white. X-Mutants, DN Agents, Justice Machine, a lot of stuff was in black and white, so that doesn't bother me too much. I prefer color, but I can read black and white, but a lot of people don't like the black and white. And you have to read them backwards. That's really fucking annoying. Like, I know they do that in Japan, but we don't read right to left in the US. And I don't read down either, so, just adapt it for my lazy Western standards, please. I would appreciate that. They do that for me too, Jim. Black and white comics blending the images together. It does that for me quite a bit with the simplistic style because I just sort of tune out. But with like Sin City and stuff like that, I'm okay with it. But some of it does blend together, yeah. Mostly because they have all those action lines on a lot of the manga stuff when there's fight scenes, and I just kind of like zone out. So I get that. And pretty much, BG. And hi. I'm glad I don't read Japanese stuff because that would probably be a little frustrating for me. It's feel ripped off. It's in black and white today. Yeah, Yeah, with coloring being what it is and the cool stuff they can do with coloring, I've seen some really cool techniques now thanks to computer coloring. The older stuff back in the 80s, it wasn't as big of a deal because the color was way more expensive. TMNT colorized reissues are great. I haven't read them. I heard they're really good. But yeah, that doesn't bother me at all. I just grew up with the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles in black and white. Let me grab a new drink here. New Mexican Coca-Cola. Yeah, man, shoot me a thing on Twitter. I'll check it out for sure. All right, so let's move on from Gerry Duggan being a complete arrogant D-bag. This is Variety. Marvel's Shang-Chi and Eternals may face uphill battle to enter China. Uh-oh, SpaghettiOs. A recent Chinese state media report has added to rumors that two major Marvel superhero films, Eternals and Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings, may not be approved for release in China. In a report on the Marvel Cinematic Universe's Phase 4 films, the CCTV6 China Movie Channel aired a list of U.S. release dates for 8 of the 10 scheduled titles, but conspicuously left out Shang-Chi and Eternals. After Black Widow, which hits U.S. July 9, they are the next 2 MCU films in the lineup, releasing in North America on September 3rd and November 5th, respectively. The omission might seem small, but its significance lies in its provenance. The channel is under the jurisdiction of China's powerful propaganda department, which has the final word on film approvals. And it might be because Shang-Chi deals a lot with mysticism, and the Chinese government is not real big on that. China does not operate a free market in cinema. No kidding. All foreign-made films seeking release in Chinese theaters must receive government approval and pass censorship. There are also separate quotas for films imported on a flat fee terms, and those such as Hollywood studio titles seeking a more lucrative revenue-sharing release through state-owned distributors. While the Chinese movie channel report is not hard evidence the titles will be banned, their omission could be an indication of something is troubling Chinese officials. Both movies have a direct connection to China. Shang-Chi will mark the debut of Marvel's first Asian superhero, played by China-born Simu Liu, alongside Tony Leung Chiu Wai and Michelle Yeoh. Michelle Yeoh, hottest old lady on earth right now. Sorry, Jane Seymour. She beat you. Both household names in China, because Michelle Yeoh is a fucking legend. And if you haven't seen her in Heroic Trio or Wing Chun is one of the greatest Chinese movies ever made, then you are missing out, and your life makes me sad. Oh, thanks, man. Yeah, I'll definitely check it out. You want me to put it on the screen here? Is that okay, or you want me to just check it out? Oh, man. Yeah, that looks awesome. See, now that's action lines I can get behind. I like the Western style of art with action lines like that. That is beautiful. All right, I'm going to put this on screen. Let's see, get rid of that there. See, it still has a little bit of that anime influence, but that is some beautiful work, man. That looks awesome. Yeah, I'm psyched. Let me know when you launch this, and I'll talk about it, because I was thinking about talking about doing some more Indiegogo and Kickstarter, like looking at projects on here as like a one-off stream. That looks amazing, though. That reminds me of Golgo 13, which I grew up with because I'm old. Yeah, nice work, man. That looks beautiful. Whoops. Jumping ahead a little. All right. these two very movies one might expect to resonate most with Chinese viewers. The Eternals director. I don't know if you guys have seen her. She's scary. She looks scary. Looking at good Indiegogo, bad ones or scams. Probably all. 2 years to complete the project. Well, hey man, if it's good, it's worth it. It's not like you did the crowdfunder and then didn't deliver. Red Rooster. You're taking the time to complete the project, so it looks really good, man. I'm excited to see that now for sure. Yeah, definitely let me know when you're gonna go live with that. But yeah, I did a stream a long time ago about Indiegogos and Kickstarters and ones that relate and stuff like that. Yeah, exactly. So I won't mind doing another one. There's some decent looking projects out there, and dude, that art looks stunning. So Shang-Chi will mark the debut. I already read that. They're the very two movies one might expect to resonate most with Chinese viewers are now the ones facing censorship concerns, highlights the difficulty in navigating the world's largest film market. Western movies don't do as well as people think in China a lot of times. Look at the Star Wars movies. They kind of flopped. The odds are already more clearly stacked against Eternals due to Zhao's position as an unexpected persona non grata in China. A ban on Eternals would be shocking but not implausible. Not if she's a persona non grata to the government. It would not be shocking at all. Given the recent nationalist backlash that led to Zhao's name and achievements being wiped from much of the Chinese web. Yeah, they all but unpersoned her completely on the Chinese web. I think they were trying to, and she's basically a non-human to the Chinese government because of some of the things she said politically. Thanks, Evolved. Yeah, great. Chinese statements celebrated her work on Nomadland, which I don't know anybody that's seen that. Yeah, the Chinese authorities put up a media blackout, film and blah blah. I don't care. The Shadow of Fu Manchu. A number of issues have sparked discontent, although it's unclear which, if any, have actually influenced authorities. First off, the character Fu Manchu, the villain from the original comics, turns out to be Shang-Chi's father. The character was seen as an embodiment of the yellow peril stereotype. That's Western standard. They rewrote it because they didn't have the rights to Fu Manchu. Somebody else did. It was a licensed thing, and that was kind of a dumb move on Marvel's part to make him so important. So he was revamped as Wen Wu, or the Mandarin, played by Hong Kong acting legend Lu Eng. But many online in China are unaware that the 2021 film has reimagined the old Fu Manchu character, or simply don't care. I don't think they care. The yellow peril thing is mostly a Western standard, much like wearing a kimono and being white. Although the Mandarin is not the same person as Fu Manchu, it's still under the shadow of Fu Manchu. The official Communist Youth League paper, China Youth Daily, warned back in 2019. Even just the announcement of the character has caused huge controversy in China. I don't think that's the case. I think it just irritated the leadership. Many Weibo users echoed the sentiment. Again, that's like saying Twitter's upset. It just means there's a handful of loud mouths out there. The government's more likely to, I think, cancel it because maybe they think it's a negative stereotype, but I think they're going to cancel it for the magic use and the mysticism more. But I don't know. It's hard to say anymore. Or that politics is at play and they're just mad at the U.S. Many online commenters have slammed Liu and that person's name I can't pronounce for not meeting the typical thin-chinned, high-nosed, pale-skinned, double-eyelided standards of ideal Chinese beauty. That's probably more what they're upset about. And one of the more toxic arguments of all, many say Marvel cast them in lead roles because the studio discriminated against Chinese people's appearance. No, they're doing everything they can to pander. Foreigners just love to deliberately cast Asian actors with squinty eyes. Well, maybe Hollywood, but I don't know about the rest of the world. There are many actors in China and Asia with big eyes and prominent features. That's weird. Not the chicken chain evolved the superhero. Rather stereotyped. More broadly speaking, initial reaction to the film's poster and trailer across Chinese-speaking regions have been critical, with many comments in China, Taiwan, and Hong Kong agreeing that it seems to prepare to deliver a rather stereotyped view of Chinese people and culture, full of kung fu, lanterns, pagodas, and the color red. Yeah, actually, I kind of agree with that. The movie looks generic. It doesn't look all that exciting, and it looks like they were trying so hard to be PC that it comes off like a stereotype. These are characters created solely for the purpose of getting a slice of the big cake in China's enormous box office. There's no soul in them at all. The hodgepodge of Asian elements in the movie are unintelligible. I kind of agree with a lot of that. I don't think the characters were obviously created solely for that. Shang-Chi goes back much, much further and was obviously more into like the kung fu craze of the 70s than anything else. But it's definitely got a lot of like generic Asian elements that are just there for the sake of like, look how Asian this is. It's lazy. Same reason they made Snake Eyes Japanese instead of the blonde guy he used to be. That was much more interesting as a storytelling function than what they're doing with this stuff. On both Hong Kong and Taiwan's official Marvel YouTube channels, fans expressed similar frustration. Feels like this will be much the same level as the live-action version of Mulan. Yeah, they're trying too hard to pander. It's going to be superficial and lazy. So, yeah, that's kind of what's going on there. It wouldn't surprise me if that gets banned simply on political grounds. Oh my God, Echo 127. Thank you so much for that donation. Wow, man. I don't know what to say. Thank you. You guys are so awesome. That's very generous of you. Thank you. Wow. Okay. We lost Jesse Hamm, comics writer, artist, and essayist. Known for his excellent tips for comic book creators online and his essays about comics, he passed away. Acclaimed comic book writer and artist whose tips from Jesse Hamm Twitter account helped thousands of burgeoning comic book creators passed away on Wednesday. His wife, Anna Sherling Hamm, broke the tragic news on her Twitter account that Hamm passed away to a blood clot in his lungs. That's a horrible way to go, too. Hamm was a member of the Portland-based Helioscope Studio. Hamm worked as a professional artist for years, but his first major mainstream comic was the 2007 graphic novel Good as Lily, which he drew with writer Derek Kirk Kim for DC's short-lived but very much ahead of its time Minx line of books. He worked for Marvel Comics on an issue of Hawkeye with his Helioscope studio mate Steve Lieber during the acclaimed Matt Fraction, David Aja, and Matt Hollingsworth run on that series. He worked for DC on an issue of Batman 66 with another Helioscope studio mate, Jeff Parker. Jeff Parker's still kicking around. Batman 66 is pretty fun stuff. Parker and Hamm did brilliant crossover series for Dynamite Entertainment Flash Gordon. Let's not get carried away. Bringing together a number of King Studios Syndicate characters for a very fun adventure. King Comics Syndicate has some great characters. Mandrake, the Phantom, Flash Gordon, of course, Prince Valiant. They had some awesome stuff. He also drew the series The Blessed Machine for Mad Cave, most recently working as an artist on Dark Horse Plants vs. Zombies series. So you can see his art style. It's not my kind of art by any stretch. I think this is like weird advertising art from the 50s. But for what it is, it's fairly popular. And it's sad that he lost his life that way. That's a really shit way to go. So yeah, another loss for the comic industry. He wasn't that old either. I mean, he looks to be about 35, 40. So rest in peace, Jesse Hamm. Sad loss. Hey, Pete, how you doing, man? All right, next up, we get to the one that interests me the most. This is from Bounding. Netflix reveals first look at Kevin Smith's Masters of the Universe Revelation, and Tila gets the hero haircut. So, all right, let's look into this. This is a mixed bag. Netflix revealed the first look at their upcoming Masters of the Universe. This is a scene. Battlecat and He-Man. Chris Wood is doing the voice of He-Man. I'm not sure who he is offhand, but that's actually a cool scene right there. If you're unfamiliar with the upcoming series, Netflix explains that it picks up where the iconic characters left off decades ago. This is supposed to be a sequel, a direct sequel to the original Filmation classic show from the 80s. They had, after a cataclysmic battle between He-Man and Skeletor, Eternia is fractured and the Guardians of Grayskull are scattered, and after decades of secrets tore them apart, it's up to Tila to reunite the broken band of heroes and solve the mystery of the missing Sword of Power in a race against time to restore Eternia and prevent the end of the universe. Notice what it doesn't say there is anything about He-Man. Now, speculation has gone wild on this, and Kevin Smith has come out and been kind of a D-bag about this. Oh, it's total 3D modeling. Yeah, I'm actually a little optimistic about this, but I'm definitely in reserve about it. The show is executive produced and showrun. Just say Kevin Smith is the showrunner and producer. Fucking A. Told fans that narratively, our show is a setup to the next episode in the legacy 80s animated series that aired from 83 to 85. This is a continuation of that story. We're playing with the original mythology and characters and revisiting and digging deeper into some of the unresolved storylines. Now, I have some problems with Kevin Smith because, first of all, he cries a lot and everything is awesome to him. So him saying that they're playing with the original mythology characters makes me nervous. Beastman does look kind of cool, though. Smith would also detail visually, we also made the conscious decision to lean into the Masters of the Universe line of toys for inspiration as well. Mattel owns this entire vast library of that artwork, so right away we wanted the show to open with classic pieces of that artwork. Yeah, good for you. Mattel has been committed to this look since they first started as a toy line in the 80s, and we're leaning into it and honoring it. Good. I hope that's true, because the 80s figures were really cool, and they had some amazing art. Jane by Silent Bob, Kevin Smith. Yep. Yeah, it does look that way, but it looks a lot better than Thundercats Roar, so I'm willing to cut a little slack. Maybe, Buster. From what was said, it doesn't have He-Man as the main character. Well, there's two story arcs. The first 5 episodes are supposed to be the He-Man Skeletor storyline, and the last 6 are Tila and everybody else. So I got the impression early on that Tila's going to take over as He-Man, effectively as the new hero of Grayskull. But Kevin Smith is sort of pushing back on that. Executive producer Rob David, who is also the vice president of content creative at Mattel Television, echoed Smith's comments, saying Masters of the Universe Revelation is the first piece of episodic content from the franchise to be produced in nearly 20 years. To celebrate the fans who have waited so long for its return, it's important for us to honor the original storyline. That's good. That's good. I like what I'm hearing from this guy. Fans who followed the adventures of He-Man and his friends in the 80s will feel like they're picking up the story where the characters left off. Okay. David goes into detail about the first episode, saying, in our first episode, a cataclysmic battle between He-Man and Skeletor leaves Eternia fractured and the Guardians of Grayskull scattered throughout the land. Now it's up to Tila to reunite the broken band of heroes and ultimately prevent the end of the universe. Still sounds like a Tila story. There's Moss Man. While he notes the story is a continuation, he also claims the series has matured with the fans of the original series and is specifically for an adult audience. That might be a mistake. He explains that just as the fans of the original have matured, oh god, you just said this. Deeper themes, characterizations, and harrowing battles designed for the adult audience. Well, you don't have to do that. You can make it for all ages, like Batman the Animated Series, or even the original. Fans will watch their favorite characters evolve over the course of the series. Prince Adam, He-Man, Teela, Evil Lyn, and even Orko will all be very different at the end than they are at the beginning as they battle it out for the fate of Eternia. Alliances will shift. Oh, that's not good. Destiny. Alliances will shift makes me a little nervous. As for the themes of the show, Masters of the Universe Revelations explores many of the themes from the 80s, which are still relevant today, including the meaning behind He-Man's famous call, "I have the power." Well, he is an evil white dude. You wouldn't know it to look at Prince Adam, but there's something inside him, something truly strong and special, that when unleashed has the power to transform not just him, but the entire universe. David added, and the real magic of Masters of the Universe is that this is true for each and every character in it, as well as for each and every one of us watching. When we recognize the best version of ourselves, we all have the power. The sorceress is in this, apparently. I don't know about these weird gauntlet things he's wearing. Those look kind of dippy. Shrink them down a little. Yeah, I never watched the whole thing of the original reboot from Thundercats from 2011. I only saw like one episode. Zach and Mira make a Kevin. Clownfish TV is the one that broke the story about the possible Teela leaks. Yeah, I heard that. I vaguely remember catching part of that, and I get kind of distracted whenever they're talking. They get off on tangents too much. Yeah, I tend to believe that they're doing some tinkering with this. So we'll see how it goes. But Skeletor is voiced by Mark Hamill, and Lena Headey is voicing Evil Lyn, which is really cool. Chris Wood, I don't know who that is, plays Prince Adam and He-Man. Sarah Michelle Gellar voicing Teela, that's cool. They have a really good cast. Liam Cunningham takes the role of Man-at-Arms. Stephen Root playing Cringer. Dietrich Bader's King Randor. Dietrich Bader is a very underrated actor. And he also does Trapjaw. Griffin Newman voices Orko. Tiffany Smith plays Andra. That's a new character. And Henry Rollins is Triclops. That's weird casting. Alan Oppenheimer, who originally voiced Skeletor, is playing Mossman. Susan Eisenberg is playing Sorceress. Alicia Silverstone, who's not fat anymore, is playing Queen Marlena. Justin Long is voicing Roboto. Jason Mewes plays Stinkor. Phil Lamar plays Hero. Tony Todd is Scareglow. Cree Summer is Priestess. Kevin Michael Richardson is Beastman. And Kevin Conroy is Merman. Kevin Conroy and Tony Todd, come on, how can you go wrong? So Skeletor looks sufficiently cool. Smith lauded the voice cast, saying a big reason we got so much top-tier voice talent is because people genuinely want to be a part of this world. So many of us were touched by these stories and characters early in our lives, and we're happy to come back to Eternia. And while Smith and David note the show picks up from the 80s series, Smith also states, but even if you've never watched a single episode of the show and don't know the universe at all, you can jump right in. It's a classic universal action adventure epic about growth, discovery, magic, and power. The series explores destiny in a fresh way, and there's a lot of reconciling with the secrets, betrayal, trust, acceptance, love, and ultimately loss. I think they're going to kill He-Man. I really do. I was a huge fan of the show as a kid, but based on this picture, I don't have high hopes for that they're not going to kill off He-Man. She's got the hero haircut here. We inserted generic black girl. Andra appeared in the comic book series, if I recall correctly, from Marvel, and she was a little white blonde girl, so at least it wasn't a ginger this time. And what is going on with Orko? Roboto is wearing a tarp for some reason, and look at these arms, no boobs. She at least has boobs, but her arms are gigantic. Wow, like Lolo Jones doesn't have arms like this. And that chick's still hot. But This does not inspire a lot of confidence, and I have a very, very bad feeling they're going to make Teela a replacement for He-Man by the end of this story. Oh, okay, that's who that is. Thank you, Jim. I didn't know the name, but I know who Mon-El is. I saw that him on Supergirl a few times. So, off He-Man or something, get rid of him, and then she pulls the sword out of the stone. That's kind of the impression I'm getting. Teela, I don't know. The rumor was these two have a thing going on, but Kevin Smith denied that. They might have changed it. I'm not sure. Yeah, we'll see how much they commie it up is a really good way of putting it, Viking. He-ma'am. And turn Teela into a hero story to rescue him. That wouldn't surprise me either, Jim. That could be done well, but I don't have that much faith in modern storytelling or Kevin Smith. He's screwed the pooch on us before. It wouldn't shock me if he sold out and he's just saying what he needs to say to get people to watch it. I'll give it a shot for sure, but I'm not holding out too much hope. There are rumors. Oh, went too far. There are rumors the show will sideline He-Man in favor of Teela. However, Smith addressed those back in 2020. He wrote at the time, with all due respect to Screen Rant, I've read every Masters of the Universe Revelation script for our shows, plus wrote a few and viewed 4 amazing animatics. While Teela is present, as she's always been in Masters of the Universe Adventures, she plays a big role. Our series is literally all about He-Man. Now, that's deceptive, because if He-Man is dead or captured, it still is about He-Man. Like the fact they don't know he's dead or he's missing or something and they're going out questing for him, it would still technically be true that it's about He-Man. But whenever I see the hero haircut, I get really suspicious, because that usually means they're lying to me and they're insulting my intelligence with bad writing. He also did attack Clownfish TV in March of 2020. And as showrunner, I really could have used these story suggestions before we locked the scripts. Oh, fuck off, Kevin. You big baby. Go cry about some garbage show. However, no, He-Man does no stepping aside, and Teela has no girlfriend in our show. The storyline is pretty dark and way metal. Nobody talks like this anymore, dude. 85 ended a long time ago. Before Revelation, we were calling it End of the Universe. Well, that'd have been a stupid title if you ever had a second season, wouldn't it? And it would also imply you're destroying or subverting the expectations of the audience, which just means you don't give a damn about the legacy. So his defensiveness here actually makes me more suspect than I was. Mattel made a behind-the-scenes video. I don't care. This doesn't explain any of the rumors. Just because they made some little video doesn't say shit about anything. Revelation will be 5 episodes in total for part 1 and starts airing on July 23rd. So we'll see how it plays out. I'm definitely going to check this out. These images do make the art look good. I do like this effect. That's really cool looking. I understand what Jim's saying about the modeling, and I completely agree, but I expected way, way worse art. I expected She-Ra, Princesses of Power, and He-Man to look like this through the entire thing. And, this is pretty much on par with what I expected. I don't know much about this character. We'll see. I'm sure it's fine. If it's a Master, they stick with Masters of the universe from the 80s, she'll be fine. I don't understand the change in Orko's costume, and I don't like the idea that some of the heroes are going to be villains. This is lazy writing to me, but we'll see how it goes. This scene gives me a little bit of hope, but I'm definitely holding some stuff in reserve. Oh no, there's 2 story arcs. They're going to release 5 episodes and then another 6. So this is the first story arc, is the 5 episodes. Yeah, I would have had more faith if they'd committed to 20 as well. Yeah, Pete. all women have to look like men now because femininity is icky or something. It's sad when the villain is more feminine looking than the lead female hero. And that's Tila. She's not supposed to look like this. This is fucking garbage. Tila should look like this. Look, boobs. Yeah, she's got muscles because she's athletic, but she's got long hair still. She's got boobies. She looks like a warrior chick. Cool. So what? What was wrong with this look? And they did re-release some of the toys, which they're going to be on the Patreon page because I can't put them on YouTube for Roll for Sandy, but they're actually really nice quality. I don't like them as much as the old 80s toys, but the heads are definitely better sculpts. So yeah, I'm kind of on the fence about this. I'm going back and forth, quite frankly, because it visually looks fine. Battle Cat looks badass. The toys are back. They're really cool. Hopefully the new ones are coming out soon because I would definitely buy them. But the way they're presenting this really makes it open to interpretation that, yeah, they might be trying to slowly lure you in with the first story arc and then subvert your expectations by, look, Tila's in charge. She's just as good as He-Man. Yeah, don't be stupid. They're all their own characters. Stop trying to replace everybody. Stop making heroes villains and villains heroes just for the sake of it. 1/6 scale figures, so that would be sweet. Oh, the Battle Cat toy is badass. It actually moves now. You can like move his paws. Like it's got a joint here and here. It's a huge upgrade over the 80s toy. And as a kid, I loved Battle Cat and Panther. I thought they were the coolest. But yeah, the new figures for Battle Cat, really awesome. And Panther is supposed to come out in the next wave, which is why I want them to hurry up and get it out. Sarah Michelle Gellar is hot. And hi, Louie. How you doing? She's always been hot. Right, Pete? They were badass. I didn't care about Cringer. I thought that was stupid. He should just stayed as Battle Cat. Because if you look at some of the old toy art, they show multiple Battle Cats. So I thought it was cooler if they could have sold more figures if they just had them as generic mounts. And like all the warrior types had cool armored Battle Cats. Because, I mean, it's a giant tiger cat. It's fucking badass. Put it past being Skeletor the real hero the whole time and He-Man was the real villain. It would not surprise me at all if they tried that. I have such low expectations for the writing from any modern cartoon that none of that would surprise me. They think that's original. All right, now to Bleeding Cool, which I don't like. Bad Idea is a small comic publishing group. They're doing comic book store exclusives, and they have very strict guidelines. And apparently they dropped a store. So this actually made news because they don't have a lot of distribution. But it's a comic line I'm interested in, but there's only one shop near me with any reasonable driving distance that carries it, and they never have any in stock. Bad Idea is a new comic publisher from Dinesh Hunter Gorison, Atom Freeman, and Warren Simmons, and Joshua Johns, a direct-to-retailer publisher issuing digital and trade paperbacks in favor of one cover, one per person comic book sales from big comic book names. That's if you could get a copy. So true. And these are the rules as for what retailers are allowed to do in order to sell their comics. Rule number 1, limit one per customer. Number 2, must be sold no more than cover price for 30 days from street date. 3, Bad Idea comics can be offered for pre-order but cannot be shipped to anyone before the street date. 4, must be displayed in the highest traffic section of your store. 5, must prominently display promotional materials for mandated time period. 6, your order of the first issue of an arc is your minimum order for each subsequent issue of that arc. Those are not unreasonable or uncommon terms. The last one is probably the weirdest one, but quite frankly, it's not surprising. It's actually a good way to sell books. So nothing about that from a former retailer perspective. is all that bad, because these are actually fairly sought after and they sell out all the time. Well, they got their name right. Yeah, it's not an unreasonable set of rules because they sell only to comic shops and no one else. They don't have an online store or anything like that. Bad Idea Comics publicly dropped Jesse James Comics in Glendale, Arizona, and now they have dropped another stating effective immediately, a Bad Idea destination store retailer has been issued a permanent lifetime ban. There is a reminder, rule number 1, limit 1 per customer. Number 2, sold no more than cover price for 30 days from street date. They added Bad Idea is fortunate to have a wait list of over 100 stores eager to join the destination store program. New stores are being added as capacity grows. We'll be welcoming a new store later today. Details to follow shortly. Bleeding Cool understands that the retailer in question was using a friend to sell multiple copies of the comics in question at high prices on eBay, which is really common with stores breaking street date or trying to get around rules from smaller publishers. Either it was the retailer themselves selling Enoch or Walesville above cover price in the month after the first publication, or it was selling more than one copy per person for them to sell high cover prices and maybe split the difference. And then messing about with the first copy pins, that's not covered in the rules. Probably didn't help though. Yeah, these first pins, they give out the first person to buy a specific title in the store. Like let's say you want to buy this ENIAC or whatever that says, and you're the first person in the store to buy it. You were supposed to get a pin, like a hat pin. Apparently, this store was breaking that rule. So they're very serious about this. These books are really hard to find for anything resembling a reasonable price. I've seen them go $50 to $100 on eBay. And like I said, there's only one store around me that sells this. And I think there's only a handful of stores, less than a dozen, in the go to get these. And they're, there's one in Cleveland, one in Columbus. I think there's 2 in Columbus and a couple in Cincinnati, one in Dayton, that sort of thing. So it's kind of hard to get these if you don't have them ordered. And the stores, if you're not from the area, sometimes they won't let you pre-order it through them. Yeah, Jesse can be a little sleazy from what I've heard. So, yeah, I've heard good things about the books. And since they're not going to reprint them as trade paperbacks, that is kind of a big deal too. Do you remember those collaborators that high-end designers would do with Target and HLM? Yeah, there's always store exclusive type things, like Martha Stewart was doing Kmart or something. This is sort of along those lines in a way. People would come first in line and fill shopping carts with entire collections. Yep. A lot of places will let you do that, but these guys are specifically stating 1 per customer. That's the rules. And that's actually reasonable because, quite frankly, if you're trying to get a comic and it's popular, you don't want some asshole speculator coming in and buying 50 copies so they can sell them on eBay like a total ass clown. And since these aren't supposed to be reprinted later, except like second printings maybe, but I think they're kind of vague on that one even, then you really want to be able to get your book, especially like issue 3 or something, or the final issue of a story arc. That's rude. So I have no problem with these rules. And as a retailer, it actually would help bring a lot of people in. I would probably order more than I'd be able to sell of these just because I know that there will be people coming in from out of area to get these. So, yeah, I don't think this is unreasonable. A lot of people that I've seen talk about this were a little upset about it, but I get why they did it. The only person screwed out of this is the customers of this store that got screwed over because the store is full of people that want to break rules. And you got caught. I'm sorry. That's the way it goes. You get caught breaking rule, they can kick you from the program. Hey, kid, want to buy some comics? Yeah, right? Artificial demand, good luck. I don't think the model is going to work long term. I don't think it will either, but because there's just not enough comic shops to support it. And they're being selective about people coming in into the program. You have to apply. to join the program to even get in on this. They have to approve you. It's not even just every comic shop can do it. They have to approve you. So it's more of a vanity press thing, but the books are supposed to be pretty good. So I don't know. It's a 50-50. I think it's good for the stores in a lot of ways, but customers, if they can't get the book, then after a while, they're just not going to care. And if a couple of these titles flop, they might be in some trouble. Buddy of mine allegedly doesn't put some titles on the shelves just direct to eBay. Yeah, I know people that do that too. I've seen shops do that. There's one near me that does that. Approval, do we have a secret shopper in that area? Yeah, I think that's a part of it is they contact some of their friends or followers and have them go scope out the stores and see how they get treated in the shops. That would not surprise me at all. But yeah, I've seen stores like I got screwed one time from a shop that used to be in my area. They went out of business. No surprise. I was supposed to get Marvel Comics Presents issue 7 of the more recent series, and it had the first appearance of Wolverine's daughter or some nonsense like that. And I was about to drop the book anyway, but I figured I'd see what it was about. And it was on my pull list, and he didn't pull it for me, but mysteriously, 2 weeks later, he was selling it on eBay for $70 because it was a speculator boom on that book. So he kept my copy and everybody else's from the sound of it and just threw them on eBay to make more money. And that's shitty customer service. If you don't treat your customers well, but sometimes you got to take a little bit of a hit. It's called a loss leader. You take a little bit of a loss on one thing to get more money later down the line or to have them buy other things. And customer loyalty in comics is huge. If people do not trust you as a retailer, they won't come back. And you need those customers to sell more stuff. And like I used to take the variant covers and mark them for about half of the retailer incentive covers. It's like 1 in every 25 or 1 in 10, and I'd mark them at half of what eBay was selling them at, because if my customer buys it, I'm still making more money than I would have on a regular issue, and then they're going to take it and sell it on eBay for all I care, and they'll come back and spend some of that money with me, hopefully. So I never really understood trying to gouge your customers like that or doing shady stuff like this. So I have no issue with this. I thought it was interesting. Yep, Jim, I've done that. There are shops that I won't go to unless I absolutely cannot find something, but I will not have pull lists at any store that does crap like that to me. Too many shops are doing that. It's bad ethics. It's a bad look, and it's terrible for your reputation. And reputation is everything, and the industry is already shrinking so horribly small. All right, next up, Power Girl co-creator. Oh, this is another bounding into comics. I found this one right before I went live. Power Girl co-creator Gerry Conway wants to see manga creators taken to task for their rampant sexism and misogyny. The guy that created the girl with the giant boob window on her giant boobs wants to quell rampant sexism and misogyny. Okay, maybe it's because the top 20 books were all mangas. But maybe it's that. Western comic book industry has officially begun to turn its sights on the Japanese entertainment industry, such as Power Girl co-creator Gerry Conway declared as he wants to see the manga industry taken to task for their rampant sexism and misogyny. On May 11th, presumably prompted by the recent situation surrounding J. Scott Campbell's response to a Tumblr artist's, quote, fixing of his work, Conway took to his Twitter to bafflingly assert that American comic book artists have taken deservedly to task regularly for outrageously sexist treatment of women. He rarely saw any commentary on the rampant sexism and misogyny of manga, maybe because the Japanese don't give a shit. And manga is incredibly popular with younger readers. Yeah, I wonder why. There's giant boobs in it. Maybe you should reevaluate what teenagers do. Conway added, attempting to support his disingenuous argument with a tired think of the children moral backing. Yeah, pretty much. An old man yells at Asia. As proof of his claim that manga was filled with rampant sexism and misogyny, the veteran comic book writer pointed to the cover image of Dungeon Builder, the Demon King's Labyrinth, in a modern Siddle's fourth volume, which depicts the series' busty ancient elf monster Aura in her standard scantily clad outfit. I see no issue. First of all, that title's way too long, okay? I know that's a translation issue, but wow. Yeah, I don't know what he's complaining about. I see nothing wrong with this cover. In a follow-up tweet, Conway continued, not to mention manga's rampant sexualization of teen and preteen young women in media that in America is mostly popular amongst younger readers. I think that's a misunderstanding of a lot of Japanese culture. There is a weird fetish around schoolgirl uniforms, just like Catholic schoolgirl uniforms are here. These are not necessarily preteen young women. They're just small people. And I think he's getting things a little confused on that front. And I think it's a cultural issue. Do we ignore this because we're afraid to criticize non-Western cultural tropes? No, that just makes you a Western imperialist colonialist who's telling other people how to live. Isn't that how this game is played? Conway then presented another manga cover in support of his argument, this time drawing attention to the cover of the 7th volume of Don't Toy With Me, Miss Nagatoro. Please don't bully me, Nagatoro-san. Yep. There's also a fetish for teachers and business people. There's a lot of weird fetishes in Japan. Why is this your business? There's no way around it. The arguments made in Conway's tweets are disingenuous to best, outright lies at worst. First off, his claim that sexualized depictions of female characters are inherently sexist and misogynistic is an outright lie, and ironically, a misogynistic one, given the mere existence of the large number of female artists who enjoy drawing sexy characters, such as digital artists Samika-chan or Bayonetta designer Mari Shimasky. This is why I don't get a lot of dates with Asians. That's actually a really cool looking costume. I mean, the peacock feather is a little bit weird, but overall, pretty cool costume. Yeah, more egregious is his claim that he has only rarely seen criticism of manga being sexist, as the only way this could be true is if he was either only getting his anime and manga news from straightforward news-only trade outlets, or he's outright blind. As anyone who has engaged with any of the number of communities surrounding the medium for more than 15 minutes on social media knows, both anime and manga depictions of women are a favorite target of commentary from critical social justice and race theorists, spiteful busybodies, and offense-desperate attention seekers. I don't know why you said the same thing 3 times there, but yeah, he's not wrong. And I'm sorry, I see nothing wrong with these images. This girl's got bigger hips and larger bust. That's normal looking. B cups here and slimmer hips. Yeah. We got an average chick here. I see nothing wrong with these. There's absolutely nothing wrong there. Team women fighters. What? Okay. For example, in 2019, self-righteous fans of My Hero Academia took issue with how the anime adaptation's depiction of Hado feature a more defined bust than her manga counterpart, criticizing the chains on the ground. I can't talk. Criticizing this change on grounds ranging from misogyny to whoa, the P word that I'm not allowed to say on YouTube. In fact, one fan felt so self-righteous in their anger toward Studio Bones' apparent misogynistic crimes against fictional character that they called upon their Twitter followers to, chase after Studio Bones. Let's paraphrase it that way. They even highlighted the location of their headquarters as featured in their Wikipedia entry. That's messed up. Who cares? She went up half a boob size. Nobody cares. Just 15 days later, the Shonen Jump series Yuna and the Haunted Hot Springs was vocally chastised on social media by Western critics for a risque pinup of the series' eponymous character featured in the manga magazine's 48th issue of that year. According to the mob, the inclusion of the pinup in the magazine was not only absolutely disgusting and tantamount to child abuse, it's not a real child, but in the words of one particular critic, reasons to celebrate the fact that Japan's population is declining. That's messed up. In mid-2020, the premiere of anime adaptation of Uzuki-chan Wants to Hang Out saw a worrying number of social media users accuse the highly stylized depiction of the series' titular main character. So, a worrying amount of social media users accuse everyone from the series creator to fans of the series of being dirty, dirty perverts. Again, this is a style of art. It's not necessarily representative of a child. The haircut by Western standards looks childlike, but a lot of women have short hair in Japan. I think it's a misunderstanding of Japanese culture. Later that year, CBR published an editorial asserting that the way One Piece mangaka and Rikodo Oda drew female characters served only to reinforce harmful stereotypes, claiming contrary to what anyone who has read the popular Shoujin series knows that Oda's female character design often perpetuate the idea that beauty equates to goodness or lack of agency. The fact that one of the most well-known corporate endorsed and ideologically acceptable nerd culture websites in North America has chimed in to criticize one of the most popular manga series of all time should stand as proof that this issue hasn't been ignored by Western commentators. There are a handful of examples, but they conclusively prove that Conway's arguments are either completely detached from or willfully ignorant of the reality of popular attitudes toward Japanese art choices. This is what they want. This is what we want. Look, this is clearly an adult woman. Children don't have boobs like that. So I don't know what they're talking about. Given the fact that Japanese manga has absolutely overtaken and blown out the Western comic industry in terms of sales in the U.S., Conway's dishonest pearl clutching feels more like a desperate attempt to attack the industry competitor rather than an earnest critique born out of any sort of principle, even one rooted in critical race or social justice theory. After all, why else would he attempt to appeal to the very same censorious ideologues who would just as soon happily take Conway himself to task for creating what they consider one of the most popular sexualized characters of all time? Yeah, that face is a wreck. That looks like the puppet Madam. I don't know if you guys are old enough to remember that. There was a puppet that used to do rude comments. It was funny in the 70s, I guess. There's also a lot of male sexualization. Like, you see a lot of dudes without shirts on, and they're all slender and elf-like, and it looks weird. But look, this is just an old man screaming at the clouds because his sales are going down, and people with boobs are selling. I don't see anything wrong with this image. I can see why some people would be upset with this one, even though she's clearly got, like, J-level boobs. That's not a child. The face, the way it's drawn, is an art style that isn't necessarily representative of children. This one's probably more problematic by U.S. standards because she's a teacher, and that leads to some themes that are probably questionable, but I don't think it's intentionally pervy per se. There are animes and hentai and stuff like that, sure, but that's all fetish stuff. So I think this is an overreaction by somebody who's not getting as much work as he thinks he deserves. Wayland Flowers? I don't know what that is. Looks like the artist's depiction of a bad facelift. Yeah. Yeah, SJWs are neo-Puritans. Absolutely. They won't be happy till everybody's wearing burqas and gloves. And lastly, my favorite story of the night. Target halts sale of Pokemon cards in physical locations after a fight in a parking lot forced one man to pull a firearm. Ain't nobody happy until the guns are out for Pokemon. Pistols up for Pokemon. That's the hashtag we should go with. The Nagatoro isn't a teacher, it's a teenage boy and a teenage girl 1 year younger than him flirting. Oh, well then that's okay. That's totally different than what I expected. I watch a lot of Asian documentaries, shall we say, and in there's a lot of teacher fetish stuff. So I've noticed that because some of my favorite porn stars, entertainers from Japan, educators, are playing educators in these documentaries. Charizard's worth a bullet. All right, so I don't know if you guys know this or not. Shio had sent me an article a while back, a couple days ago, about people that got into a fight. Some guy got robbed over a box of cards, like sports cards. People have been really into their hobbies lately. I guess they're out of garbage stuff to watch on Netflix, and Disney Plus has nothing new to offer except some BLM messaging and Falcon Winter Soldier. So they're getting back into like trading cards and TCGs, CCGs, RPGs, all the other alphabets. So somebody pulling a gun in a fight over Pokemon cards actually doesn't surprise me a whole lot. Like my Walmarts and Meijer stores are barren of CCGs. You cannot find anything other than like crappy Yu-Gi-Oh clearance stuff, which apparently nobody wants. So this story is from Bounding Into Comics on the 13th. Retail giant Target announced they would put a pause on selling Pokemon cards as well as other sports trading cards following a fight in Target parking lot in Wisconsin. WSN 12 News reports that Brookfield police responded to a fight in the Target parking lot after one man pulled a gun on a group of men attacking him over sports trading cards. This might have been the same incident. Or, God forbid, another one. They added police arrested 4 accused attackers and say the man who pulled the gun was a concealed carry permit holder. Good on him. Following the fight in the parking lot, Action Network reports Target suspended the sale of the trading cards. A statement provided to the website by Target reads, "The safety of our guests and our team is our top priority. Out of abundance of caution, we've decided to temporarily suspend the sale of MLB, NFL, NBA, and Pokemon trading cards within our stores effective May 14th. That's today. Guests can continue to shop for these cards online at Target.com. I don't know what that is. Back in February, grew in 2020, and over 4 million more cards were sold than in 2019. That's actually really impressive. In 2020 and 1993, Magic the Gathering Alpha Black Lotus RA Auto PSA 10 Gem Mint sold for $5,101,100. And they forgot a comma. Or else that's 511,000. Whatever. That's a ridiculous amount of money. Not only did trading cards overall see a spike on eBay, but the website also reported that Pokemon trading card sales increased 574% from 2019 to 2020. So there's a resurgence of this. In fact, Pokemon trading cards were the most popular category on eBay in 2020, followed by basketball cards, baseball cards, Magic the Gathering, and football cards. The top 4 most popular Pokemon trading cards were Charizard, Pikachu, Mewtwo, and Blastoise? Whatever. A turtle that explodes, apparently. The 1999 Pokemon base first edition Hollow Thick Stamp Shadowless Charizard sold for $350,100. That's insane. That is ridiculous. As for Magic Gathering, top cards were Force of Will, Thought Seizure, Swords to Plowshares, Snapcaster Mage, and I don't care about eBay sales. On the website, they said in situations where there's limited availability, blah. Okay, I don't care about this part. The important thing is some dude had to defend himself with a firearm when people tried to rob him of his sports cards. And that's disgusting because it was only a couple $100 in cards, but I tend to agree that if you think the cards have some chase cards in them, those cards can be way more valuable than what you paid for them. And there probably are one or two chase cards in the average box. There usually are a couple of decent chase cards in there. So 4 guys going after some dude because he bought some trading cards, that's messed up, man. And you know what? Good on this guy from packing and defending himself. I hope he's free and clear. And those guys go to jail for being stupid idiots, because when they get to jail and their roommate is some big burly dude that like butchered and dismembered his roommate or brother or something, and they're like, what are you in for? I tried to steal some baseball cards. Yeah, it's not gonna go over well for you. So yeah, that's what's going on. Glock's out for Pikachu. Yeah, exactly. God. I would have completed my collection, but it's just I'm way too old for the Pokemon craze to have affected me. But my nephew was young at the time, and he was real into the game. He was really little, so he didn't quite grasp the whole thing, but he had a ton of those cards, including a Charizard Hollow. But I don't know if it was. I don't think it was the expensive one. He used Bullet Punch when he should use Flamethrower. Yeah, so people are getting stupid for trading cards. Um, that's a little bit nutso. I don't understand that, but hey, what do I know? I remember people fighting over Cabbage Patch Kids in the 80s, and then Tickle Me Elmo in mid 90s. That was a big thing. I never understood it. It's just a thing that exists. People get stupid when it comes to getting some moderately weirdly collectible things. I guess that's the way people decide to act. So, yeah, Yu-Gi-Oh was real big right after Pokemon started to fade out around my area. So, I guess they both still have very strong fan bases. They're still making cards for both of them, and same with Magic. Magic's faded out quite a bit. That's true. Garbage Pail Kids never had this violence problem. Garbage Pail Kids were the best. Yeah, basically, BG. Garbage Pail Kids were best cards. Sorry. Yeah, that's what we were just talking about, Baby Doll. They took all those down. It doesn't surprise me. I've been seeing them off the shelves in a lot of places. They're sold out. I've heard that my local Walmart might be putting them back in glass cases, so people are only limited to getting one or two, because they're already limiting the numbers you can buy, but they're all sold out of them, so it's pointless. But to make sure people aren't scamming the system or having their friends ring them out at the stores, yeah, it wouldn't surprise me at all if they start putting them back under lock and key the way they used to. Apparently, they have to, because people try and rob you. So it gets a little nuts. So, yeah, that's all I had for today. Give you a minute or two if you have any questions, and then we'll call it an evening. And I want to thank everybody for coming out, as always. Still in my Pogs. Oh, I still see those. I did an unboxing of a Pog like starter set a while back, and that was an interesting trip down memory lane. When I was a younger guy, my old game store went all in and became a national retailer on that. He lost like 15 grand. It was a bloodbath. He got stuck with so much of that stuff because it was a really short-lived fad around me, and they just did not sell at all. Yeah, he tried so hard to make that a thing, and it just did not take. Yeah, here's a link to that video if you want to trip down memory lane. Oop, did that not go through? Gotta do it on the other one. Ah, there it goes. So yeah, Yeah, about a year. It wasn't that long. It really wasn't even. It was big for about 6 months, and then it kind of had a little bit of build up before that, and a little bit of fade out. So yeah, about 18 months sounds right for me. But they used to give those things out all the time. Like there were comic books. Like Malibu had some issues of like X Mutants and Protectors that had a Pog in them, and like not Shadis, but one of the other like non-sport card magazines and an RPG magazine had Pogs in them. They were trying to make it a huge deal for way longer than that fad ever was going to last. I remember my nephew had some Power Ranger ones, and he really liked those, but he never played Pogs. He just thought they were cool, like coin things. African or European evolved? So yeah, it was an interesting fad, but there were a lot of those. Like when trading cards got real big in the early '90s, uh, that industry collapsed for a while because there were so many on the market, and some of the most generic crap ever came out. Like you had some interesting ones that could have been really cool, but suffered from like bad design or art problems, like Galactic Empires. I thought that one was kind of cool, but then you had stuff like Hero Deck, and it was the most generic thing you'd ever seen in your life. Overpower had the same problem. Was it Overpower? The first one they did, the Marvel and DC heroes, that one was really simplistic. It just never caught on. But I thought the cards had cool images on them. Sitting on my hockey trading cards for retirement is going to pay off, I tell you. Yeah, I don't know if I'd hold my breath too hard on that one, dude. That you may be in for some disappointment. A guy I used to work for, real nice guy. He had a trading card store for a while back in like the 80s. And then around 2000, he had purchased an entire collection from a guy. And I was like, what are you doing? He's like, oh no, there's some great stuff in there. This stuff's coming back. I was like, no, it's not. Oh yeah, Wheel of Time CCG. I never played that one. There was another time one that had wasn't Wheel of Time, but it was something time that was pretty good. But the rules were only online. Same with the Buffy the Vampire Slayer card game. I think the rules were only online for that one. And those websites are long gone, so good luck with that. But yeah, there were some cool CCGs that just never caught on. Uh, but there were some really dumb ones too. I knew some guys that played the WWF one, and they loved it, but I thought it was really stupid. I never got too far into that. I had a lot of starter sets from stuff my friends wanted to play, and I'd play with them just to hang out because we'd play before playing D&D or something, and it just never caught on. I've had nothing in the house to eat for lunch, so it's tinned spaghetti for me. Oh, God. But I saw some Garbage Pail Kids are making a comeback. That's really cool. I would like to find some of those. I had opened a couple of packs previously for Roll for Sanity, and they were really cool. It was a good nostalgia trip, but they're redoing some of the older ones as like foils and chromiums, and I really want to see those, but I just never find them. Nobody really sells those around me, and I don't want to order them because they're always way more expensive that way. I just don't like spending that kind of cash. Yeah, good luck, Oki. I don't have a lot of faith in anything anymore. Yeah, there were a lot of CCGs you don't expect. Like there were 3 or 4 different Call of Cthulhu ones. One was called Mythos. That one wasn't bad, but they just never caught on. They had a couple of expansions and then they disappear. I'm trying to think what some of the other ones were. Force of Will is still fairly popular, I think. I don't know if they're still making that, but I've seen people play it at local game stores. Yeah, Angela. Before they were called Pogs, I know back in like the 50s, the milk cap thing. It was just a game for poor kids, basically. But yeah, it got big again in the, what was it, like 94, 95? Still selling reverse hollows and dollar store. Yeah, the dollar stores still have those 3-card packs. They're a great scam. That is brilliant marketing because there are an insane amount of foil cards in those. I've had really good luck. You just go through my old videos on those. I just give them to my friends' kids. They love that shit. So, yeah, I think there's if you're on a budget and you want to play a CCG, hit the dollar store. They have those special packs where they only have like three or four cards generally, depending on the game. Most of the Pokemon ones only have 3 cards, but you have good odds of getting a foil. Either that or I'm insanely lucky on that. I don't think anybody's got the guts for that, BG. Modern Garbage Pail Kids, they just come off as lazy politics. Tried to get on the Magic bandwagon back in the day. Yeah, I had the original Alpha decks. I had a couple of them, and then I traded them off and got some of like the Unlimited, I guess it was, starters. And I used to play with this guy on my lunch time at the student center at college, and he taught me how to play and all that, like actually play good. And I was never that great at the game, but I had fun playing with him and a couple of the other guys that I knew, but I just never really got into it. I stopped playing after Fallen Empires, and then every now and then I'd get into like buy a starter and play with somebody over the years, like 9th edition, I think, and a couple of the others. I probably have some cards laying around. I know I have some autographed cards that I just found over at my folks' house. They had some of my old cards. I had some World of Warcraft cards in storage there, apparently, that I'd forgotten about. And a buddy of mine had given me some autograph cards that I just found. And then there's a bunch of foils in there, but they all curled, and I don't know how to uncurl them without damaging them. So I got to look up how to do that. In the backseat of your car. So yeah, I think I'm gonna wrap this up. Want some modern lingo that my friends taught me? Drip means the clothing you're wearing. Wow, that makes no sense at all. Yeah, okay, that did hurt. I didn't. They weren't worth anything at the time, though. I just traded off the alphas and grabbed some unlimiteds. I got like 3 or 4 decks out of it, and that was. I didn't care at the time. They weren't worth anything. Nobody was really into it that much. The guys that weren't like diehards. They were all casuals. And then like the year later, that caught on huge and got really big. Like it was after Fallen Empires before they really caught on in my area. There were a couple of guys that were real into Ice Age and Arabian Nights, but I actually knew more people that thought Fallen Empires was a better set. It was weird. I don't get it. But I wasn't that real invested in Magic at the time. Oh God, I'm not watching that MODOK. Oh, no way, dude. No way. That trailer was so painful to watch. Yeah. Plus, Alpha and Beta they just didn't sell well for the local game shop at my college. They just didn't really catch on. It was too weird, I think, for the average gamer at the time. It just never really was a thing. Wow. Wow, that's a jerk move, Angela. You should be glad you're not with that guy anymore. That person's a jerk. But I've seen that done several times. People get vindictive and sell off a lot of stuff real cheap. It's a horrible thing to do to someone. All right, well, I think I'm going to call it there. Thank you guys so much for coming out, and thank you so much for the incredible donations. You guys are awesome. Echo and Becca, really, really appreciate it. You guys are fantastic. You guys blatantly pay to win. Oh, yeah, it absolutely became pay to win. Still is, as far as I'm concerned. But thank you for coming out, and hopefully we'll see you on next week's show. In the meantime, I will be on Monkey in the Morning, and I will have some videos out tonight, hopefully. And thank you all for coming out as often as you do. It is greatly appreciated. And we will see you on the next one.